Yes, sir. It's your boy Hot, man. Top left-hand corner. Y'all already see what it is. Look, and you know who it is. You know what it is. It's the King. I'm excited. One of my favorite artists of all times. When I first even started this the little content reaction thing, I've been on this about 4 months. He was one of the first artists that I did. He had just really dropped Let 'Em Know, and if I had to list my all-time favorite rap artist, hip hop artist, he definitely would be in my top 5 or 6. Man, just love Tip. It's been one of those journeys following his career that has twisted and turned so much, man, that you just almost have to be a fan of his resilience, the grind, and the level at which he has continued to give us music, man. Just top tier, elite level artist, in my opinion. This right here is him sitting down with Billboard and actually going through the history of his hits. So I thought this was, man, a great opportunity to just check the King out. You know what I mean? Just see where he was mentally, with the music and that kind of thing at the time. And so we're just gonna sit back and ride, and just see really where he was, and some of the background, get some of the background stories on some of his largest hits of all times. Man, let's go. It's the King. Y'all already know what it is. TIP, man.
TIP, and this is my Billboard chart history.
Big things poppin', and little things stoppin'. Hey. Big things poppin', okay, and little things stoppin'. Hey. What you know about? Hey, ask 'em what you know about. Hey, hey, I know all about that.
This is my debut as an actor. This was the single that would introduce
Boy, went all the way to number
to
3
the
with
album
this.
King, and also introduced the world to the film ATL.
Still a classic.
And it was an honor to be received by so many and embraced. I felt it. It was a first listen. It was a song that didn't take long to record. As soon as I heard the beat, I knew it was it, and I just had to come up with the words, and they came quick. Pause. But
This dude here,
it was a beautiful moment. It was like a sweet spot, you know what I mean? Where just the right track meets just the right energy, and inspires just the right presentation.
It's crazy because ATL is still one of those movies where if you stumble across ATL, you channel surfing and you stumble across ATL, you get stuck every time. To me, the movie ATL is when we really realized, as Tip fans, when you really realize that he was gonna be something way bigger than music at that point. He just had this, and even in the music, he had this it factor to him. But you realize, man, that there was no ceiling on what he could do with the entertainment industry. And you can see from the movie, look, it don't matter whether you're talking about ATL or you're talking about Takers. He did his thing with this acting and was always able, and still is able, to take these roles and kind of remain true to himself while he does his thing on the big screen, man. You gotta love it.
What you know about?
The video was recorded probably a month before the release of ATL. It was a transition. It was a learning curve, but it's what I always knew I wanted to do, so I was happy to be there. It was what I had been praying for and what I had been working towards. So, of course, I was just happy to be a part of it.
What you know about that? What you know about that? Hey, don't you know I got a key by the 3? Baby, you can have whatever you like. I said you can have whatever you like.
Hey, this one my boy's commercial success, when let's call it mainstream, when he went from still kind of, I don't know if I'd say underground, but just kind of still more for the streets and the real southern rap hip hop fan, to just boom, just mainstream, man, all over the place. Like now, just a nationally recognized force in the game.
Whatever You Like, I think it was my first time working with Jim Johnson. Phenomenal talent.
What
I
was
was
number
familiar with
one?
his work. He did a lot of work for B.O.B. And so forth. It was a song that
Y'all
I
get up
wrote
on your B.O.B. history.
coming from the airport. I believe back then I was still getting beat CDs. So I put the CD in on the way from the airport. By the time I got home, I had a song. I just, that was one time I attempted to kind of make something that would be broad. Something
That's when
that
you know
would
the
be
beat jamming.
very mainstream. It was new and different. It was probably
It's interesting to hear him say that because that almost is exactly what kind of building on what I said. To hear him say that was the first time when he intentionally wrote something for his commercial success or for the mainstream, it makes sense because again, to me, that song right there, he had success before that, obviously, but to me, that song just felt like, man, I know that I'm running this all the way up. You saw it peak at number one. I'm running this all the way up the flagpole to the top of the flagpole, man. And that's exactly what he did. Exactly what he did.
something that would be very mainstream. It was new and different. It was probably the most intentional hit that I've made.
I can treat you so special, so nice. Yeah, so the jet for you tonight, and baby, you can go wherever you like.
Just Blaze got the record to me. I knew I wanted to spend time with
Live
it
Your Life, number one. Rihanna,
and write,
at that
literally
time,
pen to paper.
just to have Rihanna on the song.
So I took it home, sort of like homework, and did it. Wrote it overnight. Came back to the studio, laid it down the next day. And Just Blaze was on there at first, like he was doing the hook. And we were thinking about different people to get on there. And G. Roberson, he said Rihanna. And first thing I'm thinking is, she not gonna do that. And he was like, hey, all we can do is ask.
Rihanna
So we
was
asked,
huge.
and she did. And the rest was history. Now, even when I feel that something is going to be a hit or something is going to be successful initially after recording it, I still have no idea how successful it may be. So it was just, a fulfilling moment.
With the spirit of a hustler and the swagger of a college kid. Allergic to the counterfeit, impartial to the politics.
That
Let's
jazzy
Get Away
fizzle.
that was a surreal moment for me because although it was the height of my success at the time, I had to go turn myself in and go to prison. Well, I had a probation violation, so I thought I was going to prison. I did my time in the county though. So
Man, it's crazy because I don't remember. This how you know the song was big. Because for some reason, I don't recall Tip being missing from the scene. But he's saying he had to go turn himself in on a probation violation. Look, we're going to get it all. We're going to get it all. Here we go.
probation violation. So I thought I was going to prison. I did my time in the county though. So I did probably about 10, 11 months in the county. But I recorded that video to service the fans while I was gone. That's
makes
why
sense.
I said it was surreal. It was very bittersweet to be at the height of my career and have so much going on, and to know that, I was going to have to sit down for an undefined amount of time.
That's a jam right there. Jazzy Faye put his foot in that track.
I use it for diversity and me for controversy. I'm a verse picture perfect on the spit surface.
To be honest with you, man, I was just happy that, everyone that decided to collaborate with me, that they were.
Man, let me say this and I'm going to let the man talk. This song right here is when, man, it meant a lot, and I'm sure it meant a lot to him, but it meant a lot to the game, I think, because what happens is it put a Southern rapper, a deserving Southern rapper in the mix with all, and Wayne is too. Wayne is a Southern rapper too, but man, that group, you talking about Ye, Jay, Wayne, Tip. Man, the four, it was just a four-headed monster, and what this did was solidify him as one of the greats. To me, that this song right here is when you say, okay, now the game has identified Tip as one of them cats that's breathing a different air, straight up.
One that decided to collaborate with me, that they were on board. I didn't think that there would be so much support from my peers and constituents in the industry, and those were the juggernauts, or are the juggernauts of this thing of ours. So for them to oblige in a collaboration, I think that I was humbled by that, and I was really just happy to be there. It wasn't even about trying to outperform anybody or nothing like that. I just wanted to live up to the moment. They all came in at different times. I believe Kanye's came first, then Wayne, then Jay's. I was elated,
man,
that everybody showed up and
That's big.
and presented their art on my behalf. It felt special.
You kick it like me,
It definitely
no
was a special
exaggeration
time.
necessary. Living revolutionary, nothing less than legendary. Gangsta shit. Coming live from the VIP, heard the nightlife, lost life without me. Both feds in the state wanna see.
That's the other side of that of that little vacation I was talking about. So that's when I first came home, and of course, it was celebratory. I was happy to be back, and putting the past behind me, moving forward into a life that presumably I would have more success.
That Bring 'Em Out turned into an
introduced
anthem.
to Swiss on the phone, and my partner Craig Calman from Atlantic, he told me, "Yo, Swiss got one for you." And so when they pulled up on me and played it, my first thing I said was, "Yo, is Jay all right with this?" I think I was more concerned with Jay approving the sample than I was with the song itself. And they assured me that, it'll be cool. And, I kept going. I mean, he's probably one of the dopest out there. You know what I mean? High energy.
Yeah, Swiss beats, man.
From where I come from, that wouldn't be a go-to track to record to. But as I say, I was clearly convinced with all the success that it was the right choice.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. You wanna beef with the king? What is you gonna do?
Fly.
I see me in the street, but shout it, you don't know me. When you holler, when you speak, remember you.
You Don't Know Me was the B-side to the Bring 'Em Out single. So we usually would put out two records. One to service the core and the other one to service mainstream. Bring 'Em Out had, I think, more global impact. But You Don't Know Me, I feel like, had more of a core audience impact.
Hey, for us, for us original TIP lovers, I'm talking about Rubber Band Man Tip. Man, hey, he is exactly right. What he did was, is like he using the word service. He made something for his day one fans that he knew everybody was gonna love, them Rubber Band Man, like I say, Tip fans, and then that Bring 'Em Out, like he said, just something that just you knew everybody was gonna gravitate to. Like I said, that turned into an anthem at every stadium, arena, and everything, man. It was just super big. So, and to hear him say that was done intentionally is dope.
I feel like had more of a core audience impact. And it was also the one that was nominated for a Grammy. That was my first Grammy nomination. It was dope.
Okay.
It was dope. I didn't even, like, that's the one time I didn't even care if I won or nothing. I was just happy to be there. I never go into the studio or into the booth with accolades in mind. I just go, you know, my genuine intention first and foremost is just to make dope shit. And, you
As it
know,
should
to
be.
paint the picture of what I'm feeling right now. And what comes of it, what comes of it.
You might have seen me in the street, but shout it, you don't know. Rubber band man,
Hey.
Taliban, rolls
Rubber Band Man was one of my first big hits.
Yes,
Me
sir.
and David Banner, man, we did that record. I was recording in my partner Mac Boney's mama had she had like a beauty shop, you know, where she
Rubber
did hair
Band.
and stuff. And
Hey, Rubber Band Man, yeah, I don't know if y'all understand what the impact that song had on so many of us in the South that loved hip hop. And again, I'm from Houston, Texas, so we had Scarface, man. You know, we had UGK, we went, and we was already on Ball and G and all that. We were already rocking out, but man, it was just a fresh voice and a fresh perspective, and was so representative of our swagger here in the South, where, you know, and I don't even know if at this point he was even calling himself the king, but it just felt like king shit. It just really did. When he came out with this, man, it was just hustle and bravado and fly, everything wrapped up into kind of who we were as cats from the South. And man, we just, hey, this is one of them ones.
we had equipment, but we ain't had nowhere to record. So she let us use the back of her beauty shop when the shop went open. So one night Dave Banner came up in. He came up in there in his van, had, you know, brought his MP, his keyboard, and a pistol, and we bonded over our fondness of firearms. And then we, you know what I'm saying, we proceeded to make Rubber Band Man.
like a one-man.
Since it was the first one, I don't know if I knew what a hit was supposed to feel like at that time. I just knew that, you know, people were gonna like it when they heard it.
Y'all band, man, wild as the Taliban rolls on the right.
Another beat that I immediately knew that I knew it was the one. Manny Fresh did it again.
Manny.
He told me that the song was for
Don't
told me
miss
that
these
he made the
producers
track for
that he
somebody
naming
else. He
now.
didn't tell me who. He said he made it for somebody else. I later found out that someone was Juvenile. You know what I mean? Which is dope. I mean, it really feels like home. It's hard to describe. It feels, there's a certain sense of normalcy. When you're in the lab with somebody that you know, that you respect their abilities to create, and trust their ability to elevate the production value of the art that you're trying to create. And it's, you know, to do that with somebody that you know so well, it just feels like home. It was just incredible. It was an incredible moment. Coming off of a lot of success. A King, I knew we had to go high energy, you know, to kind of match the momentum of our previous success.
Got my treble up high, hit my beat down low. I don't slam no doors, hop in with a
PSC.
Man, Justin and I have had a relationship for a good bit of time
What went
now,
all the way to number 2 with
since
this?
My Love, which is also, I think, a Billboard Hot 100 entry. And we always talked about collaborating again and doing something that could match the success of that. When we went in the studio to do this song in particular, I guess because of the things I was going through in my life, it inspired him to produce and write, you know, a record that was, I guess, clearly a sign of the times that, you know, that I was going through. And as soon as I heard it, you know, I just felt that it took some reflection. It had to, you know, it was a song about reflection. It was a vulnerable record that required you to kind of look in the mirror and face yourself somewhat. And I accepted the challenge.
No more straight, now I'm straight, now I get it.
Hey, that's when the best music
Looking forward to
gets
working
made.
with Justin again. It could happen any day, who knows?
I turn my head to the east, I don't see nobody by my side. I turn my head to the west. Pull across that, let you pay me back. Nothing like your leg guy, he too square for you. He don't smack that ass and pull your hair like that. So
Hey, I don't care what they say. Don't ever let them tell you their production does not matter. Jazzy Faye, Pharrell, Manny Fresh, David Banner. I'm sure I'm missing some. I'm sure I'm missing. Just Blaze. Hey man, what this tells you is two things. One, Tip got a hell of an ear, and two, he's been extremely blessed that some of the best producers in the game have wanted to work with him again. Fantastic, and he does a great job with his collab, understanding the sound, obviously, that he's looking for. And I'm not sure whether these things are falling into place or he putting them into place or it's a combination of the two. But again, man, Pharrell, and he's catching these cats in the height of their hotness, for lack of a better term, right? Man, let's get it.
pay me back. Nothing like your leg guy, he too square for you. He don't smack that ass and pull your hair like that. So
My partner Tibby brought that song to me, and I didn't want to do it. I didn't. It felt too Boogie Nights.
Number one.
You know what I'm saying? But
That boy said
again,
it felt too Boogie Nights.
he just stayed on me about it. And he got me in the studio while I was working on some of my stuff. And he said, "Hey man," I was about to leave. He said, "Hey man, while you here, you may as well go ahead and do this for us." And then P hit me and he was like, "Yo, you should do this." And I was like, "All right, bro." And again, I will say, it was the right decision. They were absolutely correct. They were absolutely
Hey, a
correct.
blessing is a blessing is a blessing.
The longest time that I spent on the Billboard Hot 100s, I believe.
48 weeks.
Yeah.
48
it was
weeks.
A monster. It was a monster. I'm super glad I listened. You know what I mean? It was much appreciated.
Crazy.
I'm honored to be in the company of Pharrell, Robin Thicke, who I also need to call and get something done with. T.I. versus T.I.P. is really a concept that came about because when I had to change my name to T.I., it was reluctantly. I'd never been called anything but Tip, so I ain't never have another nickname. So T.I. always felt like something I had to become in order to garner a certain level of success. And Tip always felt like the something I had to leave behind. So that duality has kind of stayed with me. I always looked at, the more aggressive records as Tip. And, the more polished mainstream records is T.I.
do it for my daughters and my youngest son, mama, who go by what she want because she know
Hey,
that
tilt the hat, man.
to the checker flag, running through the red light, 12 get me gun and won't pull over till I'm dead right.
Here's the thing you got to know, and look, I'm gonna let it rock. keep in mind, some of this is 2004. We are in 2026. This boy is on his way to a 25-year career, and he ain't never dropped no whack shit. That speaks to, one, being a visionary, one, the level of talent and creativity that you have to have, but also somebody that's remained authentically himself, so his fan base always knows that we're gonna get the same dope offering from him no matter what. And he's changed and reinvented himself several times, even in the midst of turmoil in his own life, turmoil in the family, his family growing. Man, we got a chance to really, it's cool because it's almost, you almost feel like you got a chance to see him really age right along with you, like for real. And that I think as a fan gives you a different sense of dedication to this person, especially when they just been this good for their whole career, man. 20 years plus. And then he come back this past year, and hit us with this again. And it's just, again, undeniable banger. Just to let you boys know, I'm still one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, that motherfucker that hard. That motherfucker that hard.
Yes, it is hard though.
The video hard, the song hard.
Everything hard.
Hey man, man,
that boy impressed himself.
We burnt the nets up with that. You know what I'm saying? That was a Steph Curry from the other side of the court shot, man. We went hard on that one.
Hey, talk your talk, boy.
I don't know what Pharrell was thinking about or what movie he had watched. I don't know what kind of cereal he was eating that day, but he need to do that again for me. You know what I'm saying? Man, that was such a great moment recording, bro. Now this is actually a story. It's just that miraculous. So I called Pharrell, and this is the first time I called Pharrell about some music in probably about 7 years. Hit him. You know, of course, he in his fashion bag. He out in Paris doing his thing. And I was like, yo, you still doing music? And he started laughing. And he was like, yeah, you're a comedian now. You ain't in the studio. I say, man, come on, bro. Let's get it done. And he said he'd let me know when he was in the States. About 2 weeks later, he hit me, told me to meet him in Miami. I met him in Miami. He gave me an address, pull up to it. It's a dock with a little boat. I'm like, what's up with this? So I get on he said, yeah, just get on the boat. They're gonna bring you to me. So I get on the boat, and you know what I'm saying? It's a little, one of them little boats James Bond ride at the end of the movie. You know what I'm saying? With the bag of money in the back or whatever.
What a speedboat.
So one of them little boats, and it was a nice boat. It was just small, probably about a 6-seater, something like that. So takes me to this huge boat. Pull up on this huge boat, and Pharrell got a studio set up in here. He got a studio set up with a keyboard, drum machine, speakers, you know what I mean? Modules, microphone, just a studio right here in the boat. And man, that was some of the dopest shit I've ever done. Like, you know, I'm 25 years into a career.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And I've had, you know, some pretty considerable levels of success by all measures. It's not often I get to do something for the first time here.
Let's say that's the fly shit he ever saw.
We got on that boat, we recorded. So the first day, you know, we did a couple records, and they were cool. But I just was like, yeah, man, I love it. It just, I'm looking for that core audience, undeniable club banger. And I was like, man, can you do it still? Or you gave it all to the Clips? And he was like, I got you. Next day I got my own boat. I was like, oh, okay, he on boats. So I'm gonna pull my boat up to his boat. I ain't getting in the little boat no more. But of course I was late. You know, I was waiting on my wife and her friends, and they all late, you know, doing girl stuff. So I'm probably about an hour late. So I missed the meetup spot, and I kept in there. Every time I go to the coordinates where they was moving away. So of course, he sent the little boat again, and I got on the little boat, and the little boat took me to the big boat. I'm separated from my boat. I said, "Hey man, why I can't find you?" And he was just like, "Here, listen to this." And it was the Let 'Em Know beat, and I say, you on some shit. This how you coming? I bet. And we just had a little conversation for about 2-3 minutes. He was like, yo, I'm thinking NASCAR. I'm thinking, nighttime, highway, Need for Speed, Midnight Run. You know what I mean? He just started throwing stuff at me. I just got on the mic, spazzed out. I knew as soon as we recorded this record. We recorded it in December, last December. I knew as soon as we recorded this record, I said, this the one. This the one we putting out. And, we recorded in December. After that, I had to, kind of clear my runway. I had a bunch of shit that I was planning on doing. I was kind of dragging my feet with it, though. One of which is releasing my stand-up special.
Shout out to everybody about tickets thinking there was going to be some songs performed. Not today.
So I knew that I was going to be dropping music in January, February, first quarter. So I just dropped it on Christmas Eve, just so I could, clear the runway for me to go ahead and cut my hair, put some music out, so on and so forth. And it worked. You know what I mean? It's still working. I sat as a kid watching The Box and Rap City and Video Soul and Video Vibrations and you know what I mean? I watched MTV, BET, everywhere where you could get videos. And I just used to sit in front of the TV and just dream for an opportunity to be a part of that industry. And so to go from that moment to being one of the people that people are sitting in front of their TVs watching or computers watching, man, I just can't describe how much of a blessing that is.
Hey,
it feels like
you heard me use that word earlier, blessing. The craziest thing about this what we're seeing here, this documentary, is even through the hardship, the blessings that he was receiving through the music and the entertainment was God telling him, this is where you are supposed to be. And the now you seeing, like you say, 25 years in, somebody that's able to look back and really reflect on those blessings. And the crazy thing is, man, he been the humility that he's shown along the way is cool stuff. The cats that he put on, man, look, the Dros and the PSCs of the world all got careers of their own. And it's still, and the crazy thing is his book is still not finished. That's the greatest thing. That's the thing that I love even as much as the song about Let 'Em Know is what that said is. It's like a rep, you see the gray in the beard, man. The old school cats. The now what happens is hip hop has transcended being a young man's game, and still at the forefront of the game are some cats that were pivotal towards the changing of the guard and the game and the way Southern rap was looked at and all that. And this is one of these cats. He's still super relevant and still jamming his ass off, man. You gotta love it.
How much of a blessing that is. It feels like true manifestation, mixed with hard work, sacrifice, and all of the stuff that it takes to execute a plan properly. It's great. It's truly a blessing.
Hey, don't get it confused. One of the best to ever do it. I don't care what you're talking about. I don't care what they talking about. It's not too many people that can go song for song, hit for hit with TIP and say they got more to bring to the table than this dude right here. On top of that, fantastic acting career. We gave us a chance to watch his family grow up right before our eyes, stood on what he stood on. The times where he fell off, we saw the setbacks, we saw the bad decisions, we saw the good decisions, man, and he been transparent along the way. the whole time. Now, expeditiously, he got that going on. The things that this dude is doing, man, and intentionally and unintentionally being an inspiration for people coming behind him, the people that were in front of him that still attached to the content and attached to the culture, which honestly, if you from the hip hop culture, that's all of us. You can't detach from it unless you just not real. And that's the only way. If you real at all, then what happens is you still attached to the culture because it's our culture that we built from the ground up. That's the best thing about being an old school cat. I can still remember the culture, this culture, being built from the ground up and seeing where it is now, right? One of the huge building blocks in that, man, super salute to TIP. Look, you guys got to watch this in its entirety, man. I'm going to put this on both the Patreon and the YouTube. I just want as many people to see it as humanly possible, and I'm not sure how much they pushing this out. But if it's going to get pushed out, I might as well be a part of the push. Y'all already know what it is. If it's the YouTube you're seeing this on, man, you haven't liked and subscribed, do your thing. I appreciate the love in advance. If you're on the Patreon, y'all already know how I feel about y'all on the Patreon, man. It's nothing but love. Look, until the next time, man. Look, and when that new TIP drop, man, y'all go get that. Support your boy. Stream that to death, man. Until the next time, man, it's your boy.